I think culture has done submission a bad number, right? I think when women in culture hear submission, they think slave, they think you have no rights, they think you have no voice, you have no value, they think doormat, right? Yeah. But biblically speaking, when I hear submission, I think safety. I hear protection. I hear guidance, right? And I will go so far as to say you really don't need submission when you have agreement, right? Submission is only necessary when you don't have agreement. So like we know what the scripture says, wives submit to your husbands. Yeah. But then it tells husbands, love your wife as Christ loves the church. So if a husband is loving his wife the way he's supposed to, right, it will be easier for her to submit to him as the head of the home. But think about this, right? There's one steering wheel in a car, one, right? If both people grab that steering wheel, you're both trying to drive, you're going to get into a crash, right? But as long as the car is flowing, there's no need for two hands to be on that steering wheel. So like, watch, my wife never has to submit to me unless we disagree. As long as we're in agreement, we're flowing, right? If we're in agreement about how we're managing our budget, we're flowing. How we're dealing with our kids, we're flowing. Where they're going to go to school. The only time submission is really necessary is when the husband and wife disagree. Now, when we have a disagreement, if we go according to the scriptures, the man, the head of the home, he makes a decision. The wife then submits. But that is only necessary when y'all disagree. But you don't need submission as long as you're in agreement. That's why I think agreement is even more powerful than submission.
And y'all supposed to be submitting to us too?
I think so. I think a couple is wise when you learn to submit in the areas where you are the most weakest. Like, so there are areas where my wife is submitted to me, and there's areas where I'm submitted to her. So I'll give you an example, right? When it comes to the spiritual climate of our home, my wife is submitted. When it comes to our finances, I am submitted. My wife is a better steward than I am. She knows how to handle a budget. Side note, a budget don't mean broke. A budget is just having every dollar. You have an assignment. You go to investments, you pay the bills, you take care of the car, you take care of my hair, you get the mani and petty. So a budget is just telling every dollar where to go. Because my wife is a better steward than I am, I'm submitted to her when it comes to the budget. I'm not going to try to flex on her in that area. You understand what I'm saying? And so I think there needs to be mutual submission. And I think you have to be wise about the areas where you're weak, where your spouse might be smarter than you or wiser than you. If they're smarter or wiser than you and you're not so insecure, you could submit as a man to your wife in a particular area, especially if she's a better leader than you in that area. It's only prideful men refuse to do that, and then you cause unnecessary tension in your home, damage in your home that could be avoided if your pride and your ego wasn't so big. That makes sense what I'm saying?